about Emily Dickinson when she was a teenager. My professor had that picture of her up on the slide, and I said, wait, I'm drawing her. And he said, I'm also drawn to Emily. And I was like, no, I'm drawing her. This is, I wanted to say her name is Sarah. Like all of the feminist Puritans in those days, they were all named Sarah. Yeah, I felt very connected to Puritan hurt. That the women were supposed to be virtuous, lovely, and pure, and simple. And hurt. This is Charlotte Perkins Gilman's The Yellow Wallpaper. I have been obsessed with this woman. She's come out to my art several times. She had postpartum depression. Her husband was a psychiatrist in the Victorian times, and so he told her the problem was just she was thinking too much, and so he gave her less and less to do and put her in a yellow room. And he comes in one day, and she's gone completely insane. The wallpaper's come to life and started breathing, and she's a part of it. And that brings us to bathtub dissociation, because this ends up being a part of it. Bathtub dissociation started off, I was with my mom. I kind of asked her where she was for 15 years. I didn't know she, sorry. Sorry, it's okay. Sorry. Oh my goodness, we're having a hard time. So yeah, I was having a hard time then too. I started vomiting and screaming and yelling and not saying where were you, but feeling it. And she dissociated, and I said, where were you? And she said, this is hard for me too, because she has her own history, and I love my mother, and she loves me, but we do not know how to connect in this agony. And I felt that. And so I think I was suicidal already without knowing it. It was on different layers of me. And I knew I had 8 grams of mushrooms, and I took them because I was kind of curious what was down in my soul. And again, you're not supposed to take mushrooms when you're working through childhood trauma, but I didn't care. I wanted to know what was down there. And when the mushrooms first hit, I was in the bathtub. My freckles, I looked down on my arm and I said, I have so many freckles. And I'm fat, because that's how a 28-year-old girl looks at her 4-year-old body. Or vice versa. A 4-year-old girl looks at her 28-year-old body. And it was cool. I thought about, what's his name, the celebrity, Hook, who killed himself. I thought about how fun drugs were, and he must have had an amazing time before he killed himself. I had also called up friends right before I took the drugs and kind of reached out in a scary way. And at one point, the sunlight there was a window where I showered. I didn't like that very much. The sunlight hit the shower curtains, and the shower curtains started breathing and coming to life, and I thought, oh my goodness, it's the yellow wallpaper. It was a very English major way to die. So when the water turned off, that's when the sun dropped in the sky, and you could hear it. And on the other side was Felon, my dad. And that's when I started to know what she had been through, me being all of this. I didn't know. I had reenacted something called I had reenacted something called massage trauma. I could remember 11 years of abuse, but I knew bad things had happened earlier. I just didn't know what they were. But then I started to feel her hurt, and she's gonna make me. I'm sorry, this is a little triggering. I probably should have. Would you like to say that before I started? Nope, I'm okay. We're gonna go through. Just a little heads up. Yep. I wanted to hurt myself. I wanted to drink bleach and slit my wrists. And she was going to do that. The little girl who had my body. I was in the back of my mind. And a friend in college told me that I would call him before I killed myself. And I blacked out at one point, but I remember calling him. And that's probably why I'm alive. And I felt this little girl's hurt. I didn't know it was like a tsunami. All the pieces just hurting me. And I had to hold her as a 28-year-old and say, I know you've been hurt, but you're gonna get better. I thought of the children that I worked with. I was a therapist for autistic kids, and I love those children more than anything. And they stuck in my soul when I tried to keep living. You're gonna You're going to get better, I told myself. You're going to get better and you're going to help people. You're going to get better. And then a few days later, I ran into a girl who looked like she was on drugs. She was at the pie. Whether or not she was on drugs, I knew what it was about. She had the same heart as I did. Me and homeless people and me and drug addicts and me and all the people that you want to say have made mistakes. They are just people who are in pain. And she talked about suicide, and I said, I almost tried that a few days ago. And she reached out to me and she touched my arm and she said, I know. But you're going to get better. She said it the same way that I said it to myself. So there you go, bathtub dissociation. There's some beautiful hope in that story. The way that it ended and the way that I rescued myself. This is called Inside of Me. I drew this picture. My little brother was calling me from his mission and was awkward because he was talking about people who had left the church and who were inactive, and that was me, and I was with my family, and I just felt so uncomfortable. And it was also the day before I started a new job, and I was nervous about it because I had had a hard time with jobs because of all this suffering. I didn't know that, though. I thought I don't know, but now I do. And the job ended up working out very well until this hurt took over, but I'm going to read the introduction to it. There's a backdrop. Years ago, in a state of chronic anxiety, I drew these people and called it Inside of Me. I didn't know what it was that I carried, but I knew what I felt, an impression so heavy to capture all of my dread, the anguished expressions of dreams I prevented from being. Now I'll tell you what the tiger means. The majestic creature grew up in a 5-foot cage. He paced back and forth every day until noble activists learned of his state. They fundraised and made him a brand new home with waterfalls, trees, and acres to roam. But when they set the tiger in his sanctuary, he picked a 5-foot stretch of space and paced back and forth till he died. The story of the tiger is true. So is my history of sexual abuse. Even when we escape our past, it's hard still to feel anything other than trapped. These painful emotions are altars inside of me, and we all carry them in our own way. Our altars can just be emotions, a painful experience that didn't work out, but they keep us from living our dreams, and I'm trying to break free. I'm trying to widen this 5-foot stretch that I've been pacing. This is my sexual altar, Bridget. She is based off of Christina and Black Snake Moans. I'm happy to have, yep. Christina Ritchie, the character, she also has terrible daddy issues, and we had a lot of similar symptoms, raging nymphomania. I'm so tired of women being shamed for sexual feelings when all it is pain. Yes. Yes. Sorry. My goodness. Worthiness interviews. People who are sexual, they are not sinners, they are hurt. I'm tired of systems that punish the victims. I was a sexual slave. I couldn't sleep for 3 days. I was so sexual. My dad would come in and I couldn't fall asleep until he came in. And so sexuality and sleep, they got all intertwined, and the nymphomania and never being able to sleep. They make you sick, they make you crazy, and you know what? I've met girls like me, and the bishops excommunicated them for their sexuality. Like I said, can we stop shaming? You're not on the side of Jesus. Sorry, my goodness, that was, yep. Even if you're trying to be. Song with myself. This is about the cool parts of healing. This is a wild ride. And it has made my art amazing and my music. And it's kind of a lot of fun to be hanging out in Provo, and there's guys walking up a mountain. It's a couple walking up a mountain, and I know that they're going to resent me because I'm just wearing a sports bra. But then my lovely Irish accent comes out, and they couldn't get upset at me because I was foreign. So it's about finding myself in all of this madness, learning what I was born for sexually, because I wasn't born wanting dirty men to give me baths.